please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we're going to be discussing a fat aerialist. That's what they call themselves before you think I'm being derogatory in some manner. I'm going to be respectful and use the language you use, like body positive warrior. And what that means is, you have your cake, eat it, and then promote loads of gym clothing at the same time, which to me seems a bit contradictory. But you know what? Your body, your choice. I'm just going to point and laugh when people continue to regurgitate the same, but modern day beauty standards are unrealistic. I think unsustainable is the correct term, not unrealistic. And what is or is not beautiful is entirely subjective, which is why I draw such attention to the wrong use of language, because people are so set on using idioms, aren't they? It's a bit tragic, really. Shall we begin?
You're probably wondering how I got here.
Nope. I'm wondering why they didn't offer you a reinforced stool. I've noticed even my much lighter weight, more likely so, can't stand on those plastic stools because that's stupid. A wooden chair would be better, but you can get those collapsible metal reinforced stepping stools. They're very, very useful and foldable. They look like the kind of thing you use for those who are disabled. I was also wondering why you held onto the hoop when it would have been funnier for you to fall. I know, risking serious injury. But with all that extra protection around your body, what's the risk?
Hi, I'm Kimmy. I'm a fat aerialist that takes classes wherever I travel.
Hi, I'm Meg. I go to the gym every single day because I've realised it's much better to do something practical with my body rather than trying to make it seem like I'm doing something useful with my body, when in reality it's not benefiting me in the slightest, and others have to accommodate for that excessive size by doing something as trivial as lowering the height of the hoop so you can get onto it, so you can look like you're more flexible than you really are. And I mentioned the lowering the hoop because in a follow-up video you do actually acknowledge this.
I'm plus size and this was my first time taking an aerial hoop class. I lied. This was actually my second class because I really couldn't do much in the first class because I needed a lower hoop. I love the teacher at this studio. She's super accommodating. When she saw me in the second class, she knew that we needed to get a lower hoop for me. Because of my size, it's really hard for me to lift all my body weight up into the hoop.
See?
A wonderful experience at Aerial Dance Columbia. The instructor was so accommodating and positive. I'm not able to climb up to a hoop. I need to be able to get in with my legs.
I have a number of queries to the individual in question here, who has since gone to delete this video, limit comments on their Instagram posts, delete their Threads account. They went scorched earth, and I don't know if it was because of this video or not, but I have a query regarding the aerobics, the aerialist aspect anyway. Why bother doing this when you're just going to carry on eating unhealthily to make this even harder in the first place? I understand the need to be inclusive, I get it, but to be honest, they shouldn't have to because of you. And you should be made to pay for that chair. If you can't pull yourself up, you need to do the exercises necessary to pull yourself up. They shouldn't have to lower the bar because of you. I don't believe anyone should, to be honest. Additional question, why did you delete this video? And why did you go on to delete a number of your social media accounts? Who noticed you? I'm kind of curious.
We couldn't lower the equipment anymore, so we used a chair. Studio was so gracious. I needed a lot of accommodations, and I also arrived late because nobody told me how bad the traffic was in Bogota.
I'm somewhat surprised they didn't consider, once the chair was broken or eventually getting you up there, to get another crash mat. That in and of itself can be considered a remark against her because of her size. It's not. It's more of a safety concern. I don't know what the tolerance is of that hoop and what is bolted to the ceiling when it comes to the weight. Gravity is a heartless bish, after all. I have seen on social media an increase of those who consider themselves body positive attending pole dancing classes. I take no issue with this because, you're doing what is, for you, a rather interesting exercise. And there is a lot more going on when it comes to pole dancing when it concerns muscular groups being worked out depending on the routine you're doing. Of course, we can sit here all day and laugh at how ridiculous they look. That's fine. The individual that might be body positive, fat acceptance, whatever they are, plus sized, yes, or beyond plus sized into the realm of let's not do that to the poor thing didn't deserve it. In this, I'm still baffled by the choice of exercise, because I've seen many of this individual's videos on Instagram and have seen no discernible difference in who they are, and they have actually explained in some when they choose outfits that really aren't made for them. It looks like someone's squishing too much pork meat into a sausage skin. That they are at the stage of their life where they no longer care, yet you don't look old enough to be at that stage of your life. We reserve that for those who are in their 50s and 60s, thank you. The rest of us care because we want to get to our 50s and 60s. And yes, I'm being a judgy prick, I'm allowed to over here.
Teacher was so wonderful. He didn't speak any English and my Spanish is pretty poor, but we made it work. I love this class because he really pushed me to try some new things I'd never done before. This was a mixed studio where there were children and adults in the same class.
Well, it's great that you travel a lot because you identify as a nomad American. You go out traveling all over the place and you get to do your aerialist aerobics stuff, right? The hoop? Yes. That thing. I'm not surprised they made a concerted effort to help you because the class didn't look from your video side anyway all that busy. Additionally, if you help, you, the client, are more inclined to go back and promote them positively. Now, because of my confusion, I took the liberty of looking up the benefits of hoop exercises. If done properly, within 30 minutes you could burn 165 calories. You could almost eat a crunchy with that. You could strengthen your core muscles, improve your cardiovascular fitness, relieve stress, improve balance coordination, support brain health, and strengthen your back muscles. Do you know what else could do that? Burn more calories and help you lose enough weight to be able to do this as a hobby on the side where it benefits you rather than causes this amount of embarrassment. I'm joking with the embarrassment part, I'm sure you're very confident. Going to the gym and doing anything else. You can go on a treadmill with a steady incline. There you go, burn calories, strengthen core muscles. You could actually strengthen your back muscles as well. Put it on an incline, you're helping your core as well. You'll burn more calories in half an hour anyway. You want to relieve stress? Lift some weights. If you want to improve your balance and coordination, get some tennis rackets and strap them to the bottom of your feet. Bosh. You'll find that this is readily available at all gyms everywhere. You have to actually concertedly go and find these events, these venues that do these hoop exercise things, because they're not as commonplace. They're more niche.
This is probably the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me at a studio, but I broke a chair. This is also not the first time I broke a chair, and I don't know why, but I told them that as well. No. I said it's not the first time I broke a chair. No, I said that's what I Even though it was really embarrassing for me, they did not make me feel embarrassed at all and were worried a lot about my welfare.
First, I'm not surprised it's embarrassing for you. You should be embarrassed. You broke a chair that you shouldn't have stood on to try and get up to something that doesn't really benefit you meaningfully because, let's face it, you're doing this because you think it's a kitschy way of doing something different to say you've worked it out. But the benefits you would get from it struggle against the weight you are at. That's not a shot at you, that is a fact. Second, they're not going to try and embarrass you and are going to try and reassure you because they're concerned you might, because you're an American, sue them. If you're American, you get this. Someone says something mean against you, oh, it's time for a lawsuit. It's defamation everywhere. Oh, damage, insurance claim. Oh my god, I'm going to bankrupt this guy's like there's no tomorrow. That's the American way. So yes, of course they're going to care because they don't want someone to get hurt. They don't want to lose money.
This is the routine he taught me that I got to practice. This class also really helped me with my Spanish to learn some anatomical words like espalda. Despite my embarrassment and the language barrier, this was one of the greatest classes I've taken. I had so much fun and got to get out of my comfort zone. I also had to leave early. I was really a mess.
Since you travel a lot, I have a follow-up question to my why you do this. It's why do you do this when it's so much harder to do, when there are simpler things you can do that will prevent, reduce, inhibit the embarrassment levels from getting beyond where you would ordinarily be. And by that I mean, why not do the simpler things, knowing that they will help you, benefit you, and that would include your health, which is why you do these in the first place, because I can't see a practical use for you on this one, unless you intend to join a circus. And I'm saying I can't see a practical reason to do this, because you don't actually get anything practical out of it. We know this because, as I've stated, I've gone through your Instagram and your TikToks, or the ones that existed, and found that you haven't changed. The type who wants to look busy and influence others with positivity, but completely undo it by being impractical.
Don't let your body size stop you from anything. Aerials for all bodies.
Aerials may be for everyone, plastic chairs are not. Now you do post quite a lot on your Instagram and you vlog. You're basically a social media influencer, the body positive warrior type. You do a lot of traveling and you do a lot of promoting of various clothing for gym use, which I still find quite amusing. Now, I'm not here to dunk on you for what you are. Social media influencer is a very interesting market. It really is. I'm going to dunk on you for your poor choice, but I can understand why you chose it. Because I do realise a practical use when in the context of social media influencer. Because this is not a mainstream area within the health industry to be in. I've found that simple stretches are much more beneficial than me taking up a hoop bolted to a ceiling, or having to have it lowered, which isn't useful to me in the slightest. Being male, I have a very different anatomy, and my muscular requirements when it comes to exercising are very different to yours, female, and also somebody who is, as you say, body positive or plus size, or fat aerialist or hoopist or whatever it's called, yeah? Because you've embraced the fat side, there is no chance of you benefiting from this beyond showing everyone what you can do vaguely. The long-term benefits are negligible. You'll get balance, sure, when you're sat on a hoop being tucked into it, because your abilities are also quite limited, not just because of the hoop itself, but because of your size within the hoop. I find this all quite interesting, really, because this kind of social media influencer is a good thing for the economy of it, because it can be regarded as good and bad. I'm not a social media influencer myself. I post whiskey pictures and models I've painted. I don't link to people who have sent me anything because I don't get sent any. You know, like by companies that want me to endorse them, right? That. I find all this strange. You're a fat aerialist. As you yourself called yourself, you're doing an exercise that I just see as a novelty. Because again, I focus on practical exercising. That to me is beneficial to the human body, beneficial to the Cthulhu Kim body, beneficial to all bodies that are bipedal. Yes, I guess then to an extent I can understand why you choose a hoop, since that doesn't require much of you standing. Yes, I had to insert one more snide remark. Get over yourselves.